Meghan Sussex is owed the biggest apology on the face of planet Earth. And we do not want a private acknowledgement. We do not want a subtle shift in coverage. We actually want a full, public and unequivocal apology from the institution that failed her, from the press that vilified her, and from the public that swallowed all the lies. And let me explain why. The recent Andrew revelations have reframed everything that a lot of people thought they knew about the royal family. So while the British press was writing thousands of articles about Meghan's avocados, her baby shower, her nail polish, and her relationships with members of staff, they were ignoring the prince who was leaking state secrets to a convicted pedophiles network. Yes, imagine that. Imagine a prince committing such atrocities. Despite his arrest yesterday, he was released after 11 hours, other photographs have come out. I'm not going to share the nature of those photographs here, but if you want to see what they're like, just go to TMZ. Disgusting, depraved photographs. And yet, Meghan is constantly still being vilified for avocados and for making jam. And while columnists were debating whether Meghan touched her bump too much, they were looking away from the prince who was sneaking various women into Buckingham Palace under the code name of Mrs. Windsor. While the front pages were screaming that Meghan was being difficult, they buried the story that the prince, whose friend was trafficking women and girls across international borders, was a horrible human being. Now, I know that for the press and for the institution, their priorities were clear, but I believe those priorities were obscene. So let me take you through the timeline, because I'm one of these people, I never forget. And I'm petty like that. If you do evil to me, I will forgive you, but I will not forget. So let's go. 2019, Meghan was literally the most trolled person on planet Earth. 2025, some random voted her as the most hated person on Earth. Second, with P. Diddy being second. She received death threats, racist abuse, coordinated harassment campaigns, and she's still receiving them, by the way. Despite all the Andrew revelations, she is still receiving abuse because the derangers cannot let go. Their brains are busted. They cannot let go of the fact that the evil person was actually that prince in that family and the people who covered up for him, rather than the woman that they harassed and lied against. But anyway, I digress. We also know that her family were targeted. Her infant son was actually threatened. Yes, there are people in prison today because somebody threatened her husband and infant son. Not just one person threatened her husband and infant son, there are actually 3 men in prison as we speak. But no, did the press report on that? They didn't. And that same year, 2019, the palace was managing Andrew's relationship with Epstein because they knew. They had known about it for decades. And their primary concern wasn't justice for the victims, it was reputation management. That is why I believe that they don't want us to call Prince Andrew, because they're still finding ways to manage the future of the monarchy, the archives for the future. They do not want Prince Andrew's name linked to those archives. That's why they've asked us to call him Andrew Mountbatten Windsor. But regardless of what you call him, he's a disgusting human being. Anyway, 2019, Meghan asked for help. She was suicidal with all the attacks. Who wouldn't be? and she told the institution that she needed support. She went to HR. Instead, the institution actually leaked her mental health and the state of her mental health to royal reporters, because one of them, who has a big mouth, he literally spoke about it on a podcast. Yes, that's what they did. They were trying to paint her as mentally unbalanced, unstable, and paranoid. Imagine causing that. And those people are diabolical. Anyway, let's move on. She was actively denied access to mental health resources, and she has evidence because she put it in writing. Meanwhile, Andrew was protected. His security was maintained, his lifestyle was funded, and his crimes were covered up. In fact, when he was arrested, he went to the police station yesterday in full view with his RPO officers. Like, seriously. And then that, in 2019, was just a fraction of what Meghan was dealing with. So when she left, she and Harry literally extracted themselves from a very toxic system. And because they decided to leave, of course, everybody blamed her. And not only did they blame her after she left, they made sure to follow her across the oceans to heckle her. Every time she had an appearance, they heckled her. And I remember one of them saying, "You're destroying the royal family." I remember that guy. Awful man. She was accused of stealing Harry away, as if Harry was an object. She was framed as the villain who literally destroyed the family. And headlines literally were saying things like, Meghan and Harry are out, Andrew is in, the most whatever crisis in 85 years, and they banged on and on and on. Meanwhile, it was a royal family that was destroying itself. We know that Epstein boasted that he had the UK sewn up. We know that women were flown into British airports on his private jet. We know that these women were taken to royal properties. We know that Andrew maintained the relationship for years after Epstein's conviction. We know that Sarah Ferguson, which I'm shocked, she's hardly getting any negative press. Yes, they reported a couple of emails, but the harassment that Meghan is still getting, Sarah Ferguson is not even getting a fraction. She told this guy about her daughters. She told him she loved him. Oh my God. She told him, "You're the brother I never had. Marry me." And yet, nothing in the press. And we know that the other girl and the other brother, they tried to be seen to be doing something. So they released a useless statement saying, "Focus on the victims." We focused. Now what? So as far as I'm concerned, the institution need to be held accountable. This is the family that made her suicidal, and yet they chose to protect Andrew. And when Meghan sat down with Oprah, she was called a liar. And that was when they cooked together the fake bullying accusations. And yet everything she said in that interview has been proven to be true because of time. Time is the greatest asset when you are a truth teller. And yet, despite Andrew's arrest, we still have people blaming her for everything that's going on. But anyway, let me have your comments in the... just let me have your comments, please, because I just can't anymore. This is busting my brain. But I still maintain that we do owe her the biggest and most massive apology. My name's Elizabeth. I'm the author of The Luxpreneur. And for more insights like these, please like, share, comment, and follow me. And to support my work of holding truth to power, please get a copy of my book, The Luxpreneur, from Amazon, Waterstones, or Barnes & Noble, or you can simply buy me a coffee. Go to buymeacoffee.com/Elizabeth Solaru.